Hey everybody, I'm Jackie Ferris. This week on the 302, we are visiting one of our favorites, the Rehoboth Art League, to check out a fantastic and eclectic exhibition. Many of the pieces you're going to want to bring home, and later I will tell you exactly how you can do that. Get ready, the 302 is headed your way. Hey everybody, we are at the Rehoboth Art League to talk about a big show that they have going on and some of the artists. I'm joined now by Nick Sarator to talk about it. And Nick, this is an amazing show. Tell us about it.
Thank you, Jackie. This happens every 2 years. It's our 11th regional juried biennial exhibition. And what's special about it is that it's open to both members and non-members, and it's only limited to the regional states. So there are 7 states if you live there, and you're an artist, you could apply for the show. We had probably over 200 entries, and 63 were chosen. This year's judge was Charles Plant, a very knowledgeable art dealer who specializes in 18th and 19th century European artworks, and also during the neoclassical time of that as well. He has galleries in London. He also has one in Los Angeles. So Charles, it was a real pleasure to have him here because he really did an amazing job with selecting this year's artists that were accepted into the show.
It's a very eclectic show. There's something of every, I guess, genre. It's amazing.
It is amazing. And the thing is, when you're jurying a show, you don't want too much of the same thing. So you have to go into it with a real critical eye and try to have a well-rounded representation of all mediums. And, it's very crucial to do that, and again, a lot of the artists, they put a lot of time into it, a lot of effort. And so it's also an affirmation of being accepted into such a show like this.
Yeah.
And it's also one of the shows that we have that has the most high top, I should say high top, but the biggest cash award.
Fantastic, which was?
$1,500 for Best in Show. There are also 3 Juror Awards of Excellence at $250 each, and then 2 honorable mentions at $150 each.
So let's talk a little bit about the artwork. One of the works that sticks out is 3 different paintings. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, this is called Glenstone. It's a triptych, and what it is depicting this museum that's in Potomac, Maryland. It's an unusual museum. It's very minimalist. It also incorporates the landscape that's around it. It's very natural. It's not sculpted. So it's where architecture meets nature. They meld together. It's very minimal. When you go to the museum, they only allow so many people in at a time. So you have to have a time slot.
Yeah.
But what the artist did, his name's Jeff Kibler, he created this triptych again, and it's like depicts 3 different areas of the museum. And together, when you look at them, it's 3 different areas, but they're harmonious. So when you look at it as a whole, I think these 3 paintings really describe the museum without having to really go through the entire thing. So that makes it really special.
And I don't know much about art. I'm learning every day, but the first painting kind of like reminds me of Cubism a little bit.
Yes. And it is very cubistic, again, very structural, very architectural, like real crisp lines to it. And also, if you notice in the painting itself, it's very monochromatic, which kind of mimics what that museum is. It's very concrete, very stark, but there's that harmony with it. So.
Yeah. So if you look at the painting on the wall, to the left, there is a very unusual, I've never seen, is that wax on the?
Yes, it's a medium called encaustic, which involves wax. And this piece of art is from an artist named Kathy Leacraft. And what she does, what's unique about her work, she's a photographer. So what she does is take her photography, she mounts it, but then she does a cold wax coating onto it, which kind of gives the picture an effect, almost like a mood to it, very cloudy. And she also incorporates some hand embellishment too, as well. Like it could be some pastel, it could be like some watercolor on it. But the wax itself gives it almost like a mist to it, a mystic feeling. So
absolutely.
a very, very soft, soothing piece.
Speaking of unusual mediums, the needlepoint, I didn't realize
Oh my
that
God.
was needlepoint.
In such a small scale. If you look at that piece, it's no more than like 3 inches by 4 inches. From a distance, it's cloudy, the image, but when you get close to it, the image is there. Actually, I should say it in reverse. As you pull away from it, the image materializes. The thing is that there's over 12,000 stitches in this little tiny piece of artwork. They're actually kind of haunting because when you get up close to them, they're kind of blurred out.
Yeah.
But again, when you walk back, the image appears.
Do we know who the image is of? Someone related to the artist? Or?
No, just some random images. There's also, the artist has 2 other pieces in here. One looks like a Polaroid shot from the 70s. So it's just like 2 people that are involved with it. But with this particular piece, it looks like someone from, you would see from a Civil War era, especially from the hair. Yes, it's very vintage. So it's showing a different era.
Yeah, so let's do the flip side.
Yes.
Something that's very modern, the block painting.
Yes,
Wow.
Michael Fleischman. His work is amazing. There is a lot going on. And when I say a lot, you could go back to that picture 3 years from now and see something different that you missed.
I love paintings like that.
Yeah, it's more than a painting, it's a collage. So each little piece looks like a block, and each little piece is hand painted. And together it just forms this maze of art, and the way images connect is very caricature, cartoon going on. There are little messages within it. So again, it's a piece that there's so much going on that you'll never get tired of looking at it because you're always going to find something new.
And the title is, I don't know if you know the title.
You don't look at me in that tone of voice.
Yeah, it's amazing. And there's so many other amazing pieces that we are going to check out, Nick and I, when we return.
My name is Nick. I am from Delaware, and I get my nature and history groove on with the 302.
Welcome back. We have come to the other side of the Rehoboth Art League's galleries to talk a little bit about the biannual exhibition. I'm here with our good friend Nick. Now, more art. We talked about how eclectic this show is. The first thing right out of the gate that you notice on this side of the room is the industrial piece. It has a ribbon.
It has a ribbon. The work is by Howard Eberly, and the piece is called WD-40. We all know what that is used for, to loosen up rust. And so these are like wheels. It kind of reminds me of Bethlehem steel, if you're familiar with that, but it's not.
Definitely.
But Howard's skill, and we call him Jay, actually, it's Jay Eberly, but his skill is spot on. He can take an image, he can zoom in on it. His technique in watercolor, you can actually feel the rush. You can actually want to run your fingers on it. So his technical skill is precise. The title of it is great. And again, he's taken something that is ordinary and making it extraordinary. So it's like zeroing in on something that we take for granted and glorifying it. And again, the title says what the piece is. And so the judge was very impressed by his skill. And again, the perspective of the piece. And all around it was wonderful. So he was one of the 3 recipients of the Juror of Excellence Award.
You could, when you look at it, you can kind of, it gives you like a sense of place, and you kind of, it's familiar, I think, especially for people, you know, in our region.
Exactly, and it also evokes memories too. Like something like simple like that can evoke a memory, because we can all think about maybe our dad's workshop. Growing up, I know that I came from a landscaping family, so there was always like these rusty old tools on the workbench, and you know, we worked a lot with lawnmowers, so there was all that stuff laying around. And again, looking at something like that, again, it evokes some kind of response, which is amazing that he can capture that.
Well, a lot of the art here evokes a response. On the opposite end of the scale, we have an abstract with a huge star. Tell me about that one.
Jack Knight is one of our member artists, and he participates in a lot of the Art League stuff, so I give him a lot of credit for that. His work is, at first you think it's this giant silk screen, and there's all these shapes and textures and marbleization, but they're all hand painted. And so that's his skill. And there's some works that he calls, it's this Soleil, Captured by the Sun series. And you have to look at them because there's these images, you don't think they would go hand in hand, but they do. And so you'll have these great geometric stars, you'll have circles, you'll have like an image of an animal put into it.
Yeah.
So it's this eclectic mix of putting together pieces and making them work compositionally.
Yeah.
And the colors are real raw. Again, it looks like it's printmaking.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of blending, there's not a lot of impressionism going on there. It's like very stark. So again, it's the composition, I think, that's very intriguing to people when they look at it, and to see these shapes that you necessarily won't put together, but they go together.
They do.
They do.
Really do. I was looking at it, and to see the gorilla and the bees and everything, I was trying to figure out what he was going for.
Yeah.
But I guess whatever you interpret it to be, that's the whole point.
Exactly. He can go on and talk about why he did what he did, which is intriguing because it'll open up an avenue that you didn't think of thinking about.
Yeah.
But really, I think his message is to get, for you, the viewer, to get something out of it, your own interpretation of what he's trying to say.
Well, I'm sure people will love to unlock or unfold whatever he's trying to express. But the one painting that I think is really kind of cool is and it's cool because of the way it was made, and that's tell me about is it an etching?
Yes, it is. It's called a cyanotype, and it's like a collage. It's by Sherry Inslee, and it's on a small scale. A cyanotype is a form of etching, printmaking, that doesn't involve like acid, like a normal plate would do, or you have to process. So it's done by solar, like the sun. And what cyanotype is that you can actually use found objects onto the paper, onto the screen, and it produces this ghostly effect when you pull the print, when the plate has been submerged in the chemicals and being done by the sun or some kind of light source. And so this is a collage. You can see like this eerie poppy in the center.
Yeah.
And you can see grasses that she incorporated into it.
And the bird.
The bird too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on in a small piece. Cyanotypes usually have a blue tone to them. And also when they're pulled, the artist will take the liberty to hand embellish. So that's why we call it a mixed media piece. But it's a powerful little piece. It stands on its own. And again, there's a lot of visual stimulation going on within it. And again, you're talking about the bird in the corner. So there's something that's kind of eerie about it.
Yeah.
And then you got this poppy that's ghostly in the center. So
beautiful.
It is. Your eye just goes around the whole thing. It's actually kind of like telling a story.
It really is beautiful, a beautiful piece. Finally, for this segment, I don't know if it is Diana Ross, but it's a beautiful African-American woman.
Kim Clavey is a friend of mine, and she also, for a long time, did these things called alcohol pours, where she would pour beer and wine to canvas, and she would extract images from them. But now, within the past year, she's turned to a different form of subject matter. And this is what it's called, like, What About the Women, where she has applied for a show. I think what she's doing is recognizing women, the plight of women, what's going on in today's society, and glorifying them, but almost in a monochromatic way. And the faces, the hair flood the canvas. And also, there's writing on it, and you can't just really decipher what the writing is. Maybe in Kim's mind, she's writing something, she doesn't want it to be pronounced.
Yeah,
she
like
wants
her own language.
Exactly, her own language. And the gazes of the women are kind of powerful. They're staring directly at you. And they can either have she either paints one or has two people together.
Yeah.
Maybe friends or whatever, but the gazes are haunting. She is doing a lot of this from her own imagination, what it's like to be woman.
Yeah.
And they also represent women of all, like, different cultures, different ethnic backgrounds, which is very interesting. And even they're real minimalist on the canvas. She focuses really pretty much on the face, but then you won't see any part of the body, just maybe from the neck down. And so they're powerful pieces, and again, they're very haunting.
One that you have to spend time just kind of exploring. And I think the gaze, the interpretation personally of the gaze depends upon the mood that you're in.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at the whole picture, that she does, because the hair is big, it goes off to the sides of the canvas. And and again, incorporating some kind of jewelry to it.
Yeah.
But again, the gaze, when you're staring, it's like staring at you, and you're staring at it. Sometimes it could be like a little creepy.
It's like, quit looking at me,
It's
man.
exactly. It's like one of those paintings where the eyes follow you everywhere.
Yeah.
So again, I give her credit for it. It's a wonderful, wonderful
Pretty
piece.
awesome. All right, we have more to check out here at the Rehoboth Art League. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Halsey Spruance, and I'm the director of the Delaware Museum of Nature and Science. We love exploring with 302.
Welcome back. We are checking out all of the amazing art at the Rehoboth Art League. I'm joined by our friend Nick. Now, this is a showstopper, the piece that's right behind us. Tell us about it.
Okay, it is our first place winner. Her name is Charlize Phillips, and her work is very extraordinary. She incorporates many styles into her pieces. And when I say styles, they represent painting on canvas, and then she does something also with the painting where she incorporates fiber into it, and fiber that is put together by hues that complement the painting. Her own creativity that surrounds the figure, almost engulfs the figures. Her work is representative of people that have an impact in her life, whether they're celebrities like Viola Davis, or the hip hop artist Toby Nwigwe.
Yeah.
And so this piece is just extraordinary. This titled Empowerment. And of course, the mint is capitalized. And as you can see by the picture itself, the frame is in this beautiful mint tone.
Yeah.
The figures are also in this mint color. The fiber that she's incorporated around the figures themselves took a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it almost has a look, it's like the fibers are different widths and different varieties. Sometimes it may also have like a macrame look to it, but it doesn't. And again, the coloring that she puts together, it's like painting with fiber. So her idea to do this is extraordinary, to incorporate a work on canvas, cut out, put down to a structure, and then do this intricate weaving around it.
It really
so
is
it makes it extraordinary.
Yeah, it really is cool when you look at it to see, you know, she focuses on these famous people, and if you see Toby Nwigwe and his wife Fat Nwigwe perform, they wear this color, so you know, it's just, she really brings it to life, and the button is just an extra special touch.
There is an extra special touch, and again, so the coloring that she's using in it, like the paint, to represent the figures, and also she does that also in her other work as well. So again, you're going to find something that's all draped in yellow, you know, and tones and stuff like that. You know, different. It depends on the person themselves. And she tries to extract color and shapes that personify the individual that she's portraying.
Yeah, we've had pieces by her in a couple of our shows in the past, and they're always beautiful. But I want to move on to the shadow box. It has so much going on.
Yes, Tim Barton. This piece is called The Misfit, a self-portrait. Tim's work is amazing. He likes to collect objects, and he is a huge collector. I think he scouts out flea markets and garage sales, and then he gets an idea. And these pieces are part of his idea. So this portrait, self-portrait, it's wonderful. It's large scale. And in the middle is a picture of him from his youth. And the porcelain heads that are around it kind of mimic this picture of him. And also the glass globes that remind you of something that could be on the like electrical poles or some kind of current back in the day. And then there's a clock face with these vintage daguerreotype photographs glued all around.
They're little tin,
tiny.
right?
Exactly. Wow. So again, going back, like the objects that you see in there are like from yesteryear, and they're put together in such a way, and to do his self-portrait, to put himself out there like that, makes the piece very extraordinary.
And it really is very deliberate. It's not like he just found these things and put them together. You can kind of see the theme and you know what I mean? There's a lot of thought.
Yeah, there is a lot of thought. It is mapped out.
So
and
beautiful.
some of them can be powerful, some of them are personal, some of them are political. And so it depends on what the object is.
Yeah.
And so again, using himself as the art in there made the piece very remarkable.
Now, the next one I want to ask you about is the picture of the woman. She seems like I get a sense of longing when I look at this, and the color is just, wow.
Yeah, William Benson is a very gifted oil painter, and his figurative work is very impressionistic. It's very there's like a solace to them. And this one's called Sweet Surrender, and it depicts a woman just standing on the beach. And with his work, it doesn't have a modern day look to it. It has almost a nostalgic look to it. His work is very fresh. I think he works quickly to capture the scene. And other stuff that he has done too, other paintings, just like two brothers sitting on the dock fishing. They kind of tell a story, which is a really integral part of the painting process.
You almost feel like you're intruding by looking.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, I think it's one thing to paint. As an artist, you learn how to paint. The other thing is learning how to capture what you feel into the painting. So there's a lot of emotion going on within this work. There's a lot of feeling. There's also not so hyper realistic. It's very loose. So that's what gave the piece its award-winning look to it. And again, the judge spotted that out. There's an emotion that's evoked.
Now, when you walk through the gallery, there are so many things that are beautiful, and all of these things, or the majority of these things, are for sale. Is that right?
Absolutely. All the work that we have in our shows is for sale. The show runs until the 22nd, so I do encourage everyone to come down and see it. It's a wonderful variety, a mix that was juried in by these artists, and it's well represented by all the mediums.
Now, in case someone catches the show after the 22nd of September, they can call, they can go to the website, they can come down. How do we get in touch?
Absolutely. They can go to our website at www.rehobothartleague.org. They can click under past exhibitions, and all of our exhibitions are there. So you'll still see all the images. What is already sold will have a sold sign to it.
Okay.
So in case you can't get down here, you can click on the image. It enlarges it on the computer.
There you go.
You get to see it in the comfort of your own living room.
Fantastic. Well, Nick, thank you so much. It's always fun to come
Jackie,
visit
it's been a real pleasure, and thank you very much.
We'll be right back. Aren't these artworks amazing? Well, if you come to the Rehoboth Art League, make sure you snap a picture and share it with us on Facebook. Now, here are some other things you might want to check out. For more information on any of the events or how to pick up one of these amazing pieces, you can visit RehobothArtLeague.org. That'll do it for this week's episode of the 302. Make sure you follow us on Facebook to get some behind-the-scenes content you're just not going to get anywhere else. We're going to leave you now with a beautiful shot of Silver Lake in Rehoboth at sunset. Until next time, I'm Jackie Ferris. Tell them you saw it on the 302.